The Deception Protocol. The Aurora Station's observation deck shuddered as another Veldari bombardment struck Earth's failing planetary shields. Captain Ilara Voss didn't flinch, her gaze fixed on the blue-green marble that had been humanity's cradle for millennia. Atmosphere fires glowed like orange veins across North America. The latest Veldari attempt to break humanity's spirit. "Status report," she commanded, voice steady despite the destruction unfolding before her. Commander Takeda approached, his usually immaculate uniform now scorched at the edges. "Not good, Captain. Earth's shields are at 17%. Continental defense systems in Asia and Europe are offline. The civilian evacuation is only at 62% completion." Ilara nodded, absorbing the information with practiced calm. 7 years of war against the technologically superior Veldari had taught her to compartmentalize devastation. And the Veldari fleet, holding position in high orbit. Their supreme commander, Drax Vorn, is requesting your presence for surrender negotiations. A murmur rippled through the bridge crew. The word surrender had been forbidden in fleet communications for years. Yet here they were, facing the unthinkable. "Open a secure channel to Admiral Reyes," Ilara ordered. The holographic form of Admiral Reyes materialized before her, his dark eyes sunken with exhaustion but still burning with fierce intelligence. The neural scar across his left temple pulsed faintly, a reminder of his direct neural link to humanity's last hope. "Captain Voss," he acknowledged. "I take it the Veldari are demanding terms." "Yes, sir. Supreme Commander Vorn has requested my presence." A ghost of a smile crossed the Admiral's face. "Perfect. Operation Phoenix is ready. The Hyperion's quantum drive was successfully tested yesterday. We just need 24 more hours to complete the final systems integration." Ilara's heart rate quickened, though her expression remained neutral. The Hyperion, humanity's secret supercarrier, built over 6 years in the hidden shipyards of Ceres, incorporating every technological innovation humans could develop or reverse engineer. A vessel that could change everything. "I'll buy you the time, sir," she promised. "Remember, Captain," Reyes cautioned, "the Veldari must believe our surrender is genuine. Their empathic abilities make deception difficult." "I'm aware, sir. That's why I requested this assignment." Ilara unconsciously touched the small implant behind her ear, a neural dampener that could mask her emotions, making her one of the few humans who could lie to a Veldari. "Very well. Proceed with deception protocol. I'm transmitting the authorization codes now." Her neural implant pinged as the classified information transferred. The weight of humanity's future settled on her shoulders, heavier than any burden she had carried before. "Lieutenant Zhang, prepare my shuttle," she ordered. "Commander Takeda, you have the bridge. Maintain defensive positions, but do not engage unless directly attacked." "Yes, Captain," they replied in unison. As Ilara strode toward the hangar bay, the Aurora station trembled again. She paused, looking back at the view screen where Earth burned. Everything she had ever known, everyone she had ever loved, depended on what would happen in the next 24 hours. The shuttle journey to the Veldari flagship was eerily silent. Ilara reviewed her mental defenses, strengthening the neural dampener's effectiveness. The Veldari were ruthlessly efficient conquerors who had subjugated 17 species across 3 galactic arms. Humanity had resisted longer than any before them, a fact that had only intensified the Veldari's determination to make an example of Earth. The shuttle docked with a metallic clang. The airlock cycled, releasing a rush of alien atmosphere, too rich in nitrogen for human comfort. Ilara's nose wrinkled at the cloying scent of Veldari biochemistry as she stepped aboard. 4 Veldari warriors towered over her, their iridescent scales shifting colors in the dim light. Their elongated skulls and 4 pupilled eyes gave them an appearance the humans found naturally unsettling. Each warrior carried a plasma lance that could vaporize her in seconds. "Follow," ordered the lead warrior, its translator rendering the complex Veldari language into flat, emotionless English. They escorted her through corridors lined with trophies from conquered worlds, artifacts that once belonged to civilizations now serving as vassals to the Veldari Empire. A clear message for what awaited humanity. The command chamber doors parted, revealing Supreme Commander Drax Vorn. Unlike his warriors, Vorn's scales were obsidian black, marked with gold patterns denoting his high rank. He sat upon a command throne fashioned from what appeared to be fossilized bone. "Captain Ilara Voss," he intoned, voice surprisingly melodic through the translator. "I expected your admiral to face me. Is this how humanity shows respect in defeat, by sending a subordinate?" Ilara activated her neural dampener to its highest setting. "Admiral Rise is coordinating the civilian evacuations. I speak with his full authority." Vorn's upper pupils contracted, a sign of amusement or contempt. Intelligence briefings weren't certain which. Evacuations that we could halt with a single command. Yet we allow them to continue as a gesture of mercy. Your empire's reputation for mercy is not widely celebrated, Commander Vorn. A low hiss escaped the Veldari leader. Your species' defiance has been remarkable, if futile. 7 years of resistance when our analysts predicted you would fall in months. This is why we have decided to offer terms rather than simply sterilizing your homeworld. "I'm listening," Ilara replied, her face a mask of practiced neutrality. "Earth will become a protectorate of the Veldari Empire. Your remaining military assets will be surrendered intact. 20% of your population will be relocated to serve the Empire's needs. In exchange, your species will be permitted to continue its existence." Ilara felt genuine revulsion, which helped mask her true purpose. "And if we refuse?" Vorn gestured to a holographic display showing the Veldari Armada, hundreds of warships arrayed against Earth's patchwork defenses. "Then your resistance ends not with dignity, but with extinction. You have 24 hours to deliver your unconditional surrender." 24 hours. Exactly what Admiral Reyes needed. Ilara fought to keep her expression from betraying her thoughts. "Our leaders will need to confer," she said carefully. "Our communication systems have been damaged in your bombardment. I'll need to return to deliver your terms personally." "An unnecessary delay," Vorn replied, "but one we will permit. Consider it another gesture of the Empire's patience." As Ilara was escorted back to her shuttle, her neural implant vibrated with an encrypted message from Admiral Reyes. "Phoenix nest coordinate ist Troyanism-ITTD. Rendezvous 22 o'clock HOURs. Destroy after READing." Back aboard the Aurora station, Ilara immediately called her senior staff to the secure briefing room. "The Veldari have given us 24 hours to surrender," she announced, "which coincides perfectly with our actual plans. Operation Phoenix is now active." Commander Takeda's eyes widened. "So the rumors are true. The Hyperion exists." "Yes," Ilara confirmed, "and in approximately 18 hours, it will arrive in Earth orbit to change the course of this war. But first, we need to create a convincing illusion of defeat." She activated the holographic display, showing their remaining fleet positions. "We'll begin a staged retreat, appearing to consolidate our forces to protect the civilian evacuation corridors. The Veldari will interpret this as preparation for surrender." "And when they realize we've deceived them?" asked Lieutenant John. "By then," Ilara replied with grim determination, "it will be too late." Over the next 12 hours, humanity's remaining vessels executed a series of maneuvers that appeared desperate and disorganized to Veldari observers. In reality, they were creating precise gaps in their defensive screen, gaps that would allow the Hyperion to emerge exactly where it was needed. Meanwhile, deep in the asteroid belt, Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of humanity's secret weapon. The Hyperion was unlike any vessel ever constructed. 3 kilometers of advanced technology, much of it reverse-engineered from captured Veldari systems, but improved upon by human ingenuity. Neural integration at 98%, reported Dr. Samira Khalid, the quantum physicist whose breakthroughs had made the Hyperion possible. Quantum core stabilizing at nominal levels. "And our stealth systems?" Rise asked. "The phase shift cloak is functioning perfectly," Chief Engineer Marcus Chen confirmed. "The Veldari sensors will detect nothing until we want to be seen." Rise nodded, satisfaction evident in his weathered features. "Begin final countdown for quantum translation. Target coordinates: Earth high orbit, grid section Theta 9. The massive vessel hummed with building energy as its revolutionary quantum drive prepared for activation. Unlike conventional faster-than-light travel, the Hyperion wouldn't just move through space. It would momentarily exist in multiple locations simultaneously before collapsing its quantum state at the desired coordinates. "All personnel, secure for quantum translation," announced the ship's AI, HFY. "Translation in 5 minutes." Back at Aurora Station, Ilara received the coded signal she had been waiting for. She immediately opened a channel to the Veldari flagship. "Supreme Commander Vorn, this is Captain Voss. Our leadership has reached a decision regarding your terms." The Veldari commander's scaled face filled the view screen. "I trust humanity has chosen wisdom over extinction, Captain. We request a final meeting to formalize the surrender," Ilara replied. "Our remaining fleet commanders should be present. We propose neutral coordinates in Earth's upper atmosphere." Vorn's 4 pupils dilated slightly. Suspicion, perhaps, but tempered by the confidence of inevitable victory. "Agreed. My flagship will meet your delegation in 2 hours. Thank you, Commander. We will prepare the necessary protocols." Ilara ended the transmission and immediately activated her command override. "All stations, this is Captain Voss. Execute Phoenix Protocol, authorization Alpha 90 Whiskey Tango." Throughout the station and across all remaining human vessels, crews snapped into action, preparing for what would either be humanity's finest hour or its last stand. At precisely the moment when the Veldari flagship began moving toward the designated meeting coordinates, Ilara's neural implant buzzed with a simple message: "Fichoin X rising. All hands, brace for proximity quantum event." She shouted. A blinding flash of energy erupted in the space directly between the human defensive line and the advancing Veldari forces, where empty space had existed moments before. The massive form of the Hyperion materialized, its hull absorbing and redirecting light in ways that made it appear to shimmer between dimensions. On the Veldari flagship, Supreme Commander Vorn rose from his command throne in shock. "What is that vessel? Where did it come from?" Before his sensor officers could respond, the Hyperion broadcast on all frequencies, a simple message in perfect Veldari language: "Your conquest ends here. Vengeance unveiled." The Hyperion hung in Earth's orbit like a phantom. 3 kilometers of advanced technology suddenly materialized where sensors had detected nothing moments before. Its hull shifted between states of matter, absorbing light and energy in ways that defied conventional physics. On the Veldari flagship, Supreme Commander Vorn stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "Impossible," he hissed, scales flushing with rage. "Our intelligence indicated humans possessed no such technology." His tactical officers' 4-fingered hands moved frantically over holographic controls. "Unknown vessel is generating quantum field distortions. Our targeting systems cannot establish lock. Launch all fighter squadrons," Vorn commanded. "Dreadnoughts move to engagement positions. Whatever trickery the humans have devised, it cannot withstand the full might of our armada." Across the Veldari fleet, launch bays disgorged thousands of dart-shaped fighters, their engines flaring brilliant green against the void. 6 dreadnoughts, each a city-sized instrument of planetary destruction, moved into attack formation, their primary weapons charging. Aboard the Hyperion, Admiral Reyes stood calmly at the command center as holographic displays tracked the Veldari response. "Right on schedule," he noted. "They're reacting exactly as predicted." Dr. Khalid approached, her dark eyes reflecting the tactical displays. "The quantum shield is ready, Admiral. But remember, this is its first battlefield deployment. The simulations were promising, but theory becomes practice today, Doctor," Rise interrupted gently. Athena, initiate defensive protocol Aegis. The ship's AI responded immediately, her voice resonating through the bridge. Quantum shield activating. Particle acceleration at optimal levels. Shield harmonics calibrating to match Veldari weapon signatures. Throughout the massive vessel, previously dormant systems awakened. Along the hull, specialized emitters projected a quantum field that existed partially in multiple dimensions simultaneously, a theoretical defense that had consumed years of research and resources. All stations report combat ready, announced Commander Sarah Okonkwo, the ship's executive officer, waiting your command to deploy countermeasures. Reyes nodded, his expression grim but determined. Let them fire first. I want the Veldari to understand exactly what they're facing. The Veldari didn't disappoint. 6 synchronized energy beams, each capable of shattering continental plates, converged on the Hyperion. The space around the human vessel distorted as apocalyptic energies sought their target. On Aurora Station, Captain Ilara Voss and her crew watched in tense silence. Despite knowing the Hyperion's theoretical capabilities, seeing it face the Veldari's planet-killer weapons was terrifying. Energy levels spiking beyond measurable parameters, reported Lieutenant Zhang, her voice barely above a whisper. If the quantum shield fails. The sentence hung unfinished as the combined Veldari assault reached its target. For 3 heartbeats, the Hyperion was completely obscured by blinding energy. Then the impossible happened. The energy dissipated, revealing the Supercarrier intact, more than intact. Its hull now pulsed with absorbed power, patterns of light flowing across its surface like blood through veins. On the Veldari flagship, silence fell as the impossible registered on their sensors. Scan again. Vorn demanded, his translator struggling to convey the mixture of rage and fear in his voice. Before his crew could comply, the Hyperion broadcast on all frequencies. This time, it wasn't just a message but data, complex streams that overrode Veldari communication systems, forcing themselves onto every display in the fleet. The streams resolved into footage, recordings from a dozen conquered worlds showing Veldari atrocities, tactical analyses revealing weaknesses in Veldari military doctrine, and most disturbing of all, detailed blueprints of Veldari technology, with human modifications highlighted. Admiral Rice's image appeared on every Veldari screen. For 7 years, you believed you were crushing humanity, he stated, his voice calm but resonating with authority. What you didn't understand is that we were studying you, learning your weaknesses, and preparing. Vorn's scales darkened with rage. Kill the transmission. Launch all remaining. His orders were cut short as thousands of small objects materialized throughout the Veldari formation, not launched or deployed, but simply appearing as if from nowhere. Quantum signature devices detected throughout the fleet, reported the Veldari sensor officer, panic evident in his posture. They're attaching to our ship's systems. The devices, each no larger than a human hand, had been quantum translated directly onto critical systems of the Veldari vessels. Each contained an adaptive AI designed to infiltrate and subvert Veldari technology, turning their own systems against them. On the tactical display, Veldari ships began to drift out of formation. Communications dissolved into chaos as vessel after vessel reported system failures or unexpected weapons activation. The horror escalated when the dreadnought Eternal Subjugation suddenly turned its primary weapon against another Veldari vessel, vaporizing it instantly. Where is the human ship? Vorn demanded, his translator struggling to keep pace with his agitation. The sensor officer frantically scanned their surroundings. It was directly ahead. He fell silent as confusion overtook him. It's gone. Supreme Commander. A junior communications officer suddenly stiffened at her station, eyes widening as she received a direct neural transmission that bypassed all security protocols. Her voice sounded distant, almost mechanical, as she spoke. Supreme Commander Vorn, message from the human vessel. Look up. As one, every member of the bridge crew raised their eyes to the massive viewport above the command deck. The Hyperion hung impossibly close, having executed another quantum jump that placed it directly above the Veldari flagship. At this range, the details of its revolutionary design were clear, a vessel built not just for war, but for delivering a message. Humanity would not be conquered. Open fire, all weapons, Vorn roared. But before his orders could be executed, the Hyperion deployed its offensive capabilities for the first time. Not conventional weapons, but targeted quantum disruption beams that surgically severed the neural links between the Veldari crew and their ship's systems. Across the Veldari armada, the pattern repeated itself. Ships drifted powerless, their crews temporarily severed from the technology they depended upon. The mighty conquerors found themselves suddenly paralyzed, not by destruction but by precision. Admiral Rice opened a direct channel to Supreme Commander Vorn. "Your fleet is neutralized, Commander. Your neural links to your vessels will be restored in exactly 1 hour, enough time for you to consider your position." Back on Aurora Station, cheers erupted as the tactical displays showed the impossible. The entire Veldari armada rendered impotent without a single human casualty. Captain Ilara Voss maintained her composure even as her bridge crew celebrated around her. "Patch me through to the Hyperion," she ordered. Admiral Rice's weathered face appeared on her screen. "Captain Voss, the deception protocol was executed flawlessly. Congratulations, Admiral. The Hyperion exceeded even our highest expectations." "The Hyperion is just a vessel, Captain," Rice replied. "It's what it represents that matters. Humanity's refusal to submit, our capacity to innovate, and our determination to secure our place among the stars." Ilara nodded, emotion finally breaking through her carefully maintained facade. "What happens now, sir?" Now we negotiate, but this time we dictate the terms." Rice's expression hardened. The Veldari Empire has expanded unchecked for too long. They've never encountered a species that could stand against them, until now. Over the next 24 hours, as Earth's population emerged from shelters to witness the unbelievable sight of disabled Veldari warships hanging powerless in orbit, representatives from both species met aboard the neutral ground of Aurora Station. The terms were straightforward. The Veldari would withdraw from the Sol system immediately. All conquered human colonies would be returned. A demilitarized zone would be established along the borders of human space, and perhaps most significantly, the 17 species previously subjugated by the Veldari would be granted increasing autonomy under a new galactic compact. Supreme Commander Vorn, his once imperious bearing now subdued, had little choice but to agree. The demonstration of the Hyperion's capabilities had sent shockwaves through the Veldari Empire's hierarchy. Reports were already coming in of uprisings on vassal worlds as news spread of the Empire's defeat. As the Veldari fleet limped away from Earth, Captain Ilara Voss stood once again at the observation deck of Aurora Station. The planet below still bore the scars of 7 years of war. Atmosphere fires still burned across North America, and the glass crater where Mumbai had once stood glinted in the sunlight. Recovery would take decades. But for the first time in 7 years, the sky above Earth was clear of threat. The Hyperion maintained its vigilant orbit, a guardian and a promise. Commander Takeda joined her at the viewport. "Hard to believe it's over," he said quietly. "Not over," Ilara corrected him. "Just beginning. We've earned our place among the stars, Commander. Now we have to decide what kind of galactic neighbors we want to be." "Better ones than the Veldari," Takeda replied with certainty. Ilara nodded, watching as the first shuttles began descending to Earth's surface, carrying people home. The Hyperion was built as a weapon of last resort, but its true value is as a symbol. It represents what humanity can achieve when unified by necessity and inspired by hope. In the coming years, the story of how a single human vessel changed the balance of galactic power would be told throughout known space. The Hyperion would become more than a ship. It would become legend, a reminder that technological superiority means nothing without the creativity and determination to wield it effectively. And across the galaxy, species that had lived for generations under Veldari dominion began to look to humanity not as saviors, but as teachers, showing them that resistance was not futile, that oppression was not inevitable, and that the future belonged to those with the courage to claim it. As Ilara watched Earth rotate below her, she thought of all the sacrifices that had made this moment possible, the billions who had died, the cities destroyed, the years of desperate resistance. The price had been unimaginably high, but humanity had survived. More than survived, they had changed the very nature of galactic politics with a single, decisive stroke. Captain, her neural implant buzzed with an incoming message. Admiral Rise requests your presence aboard the Hyperion. He says it's time to discuss what comes next. Ilara smiled slightly. What comes next, indeed. With the Hyperion, humanity had earned its voice in galactic affairs. Now they would need to find the wisdom to use that voice well. Tell the Admiral I'm on my way, she replied, turning from Earth's image toward humanity's future among the stars.